On its opening weekend, it was good to see the NFL join the rest of the world by using its platform to speak to matters of racial injustice in America. Even if it's just lip service, Lift Every Voice and Sing, an on-field slogan showed at least some concern for the plight of black Americans. That said, it's disappointing that Alejandro Villanueva of the Steelers and Tyler Eifert of the Jaguars attempted to hijack the weekend. The Steelers agreed to all wear the name of Antoine Rose Jr. on their helmets, a teenager shot in the back by police in 2018. Villanueva, who served 3 tours as an Army Ranger in Afghanistan, chose to tape over Rose's name and replace it with that of Alwyn Cash, a soldier who died in Iraq in 2005. Eifert, rather than honoring a victim of systemic racism as encouraged by the NFL, put the name David Dorn on his helmet. Dorn was a 77-year-old retired police officer who was killed while a pawn shop was looted in June in St. Louis. The deaths of Cash and Dorn, both of whom were black, were tragic. But Villanueva and Eifert have plenty of opportunities to bring attention to those causes. Why choose to do so the rare time the NFL is lending its might to fight racism? Why is now the time to change the subject? In a league that demands uniformity and compliance, why was this the time for them to do their own thing? Villanueva and Eifert clearly wanted to make statements, so they should make them. Tell us why a dead teenager wasn't worth your platform, Alejandro. Tell us why this was the time to parrot a right-wing talking point, Tyler. If the NFL wants to end racism, that's wonderful. Now let's find out why these gentlemen don't want to do little things to help.
For fans of Big Ten football, Commissioner Kevin Warren's cancellation of the fall 2020 sports season on August 19th seemed pretty sobering and very much final. In an open letter to the entire Big Ten community, Warren said flatly the decision would not be revisited. Apparently, peer pressure doesn't stop in the dorm rooms, because cowering to pressure from coaches, players, parents, and even the White House, Big Ten presidents decided that playing football, and no other fall sport, did make sense in 2020 after all. They explained that more rapid testing, along with further medical information, has made playing a more comfortable, realistic possibility. But reread the same letter Warren wrote when he initially canceled fall sports. Quote, "There's simply too much we do not know about the virus, recovery from infection, and longer-term effects," Warren wrote. "While the data on cardiomyopathy is preliminary and incomplete, the uncertain risk was unacceptable at this time." None of that's changed, certainly not in the 1 month since Warren released that statement. In fact, the Journal of American Medical Association reported last week of a small study of 26 student athletes who've recovered from COVID. It found that 15% of them showed swelling of the heart muscle, consistent with myocarditis. And that condition is a significant cause of sudden cardiac death in competitive athletes. Those athletes studied happened to come from the Big Ten powerhouse, Ohio State. So tell me again why 11 of the 14 university chiefs changed their votes and decided to play? Not because it was all safe. Just ask LSU coach Ed Orgeron and his mostly infected reigning champs. No, it's an attempted money grab veiled by the enthusiasm of Buckeyes quarterback Justin Fields and ridiculous statements like this one from the Nebraska AD Bill Moose. "I believe, and very strongly," Moose said, "that the state of Nebraska needs football." No, it doesn't. But starting October 23rd, the Big Ten, if things go according to this new plan, will have its football. We can only hope this peer pressure doesn't lead to solemn regret.
The most overlooked trend of week 1 in the NFL was something that will impact every single team: officiating, but not in the way you expect. Did you know that 5 on-field officials and 2 booth review officials opted out of the season because of COVID-19 concerns? Given that there are 11 rookies who, along with the returning officials, had no training camp or preseason to prepare, the question is, what effect will it have on the games? Based on a 1-week sample size, a huge one. There were only 199 penalties called in week 1, the fewest since the opening week of 2001. Compare that to last year when we saw 306 penalties called in week 1. It's a huge 35% drop. Offensive holding was called just 18 times, the fewest during any week this millennium. Are linemen suddenly playing cleaner? Not likely. In fact, it's fair to think they'd be sloppier given the limitations players have faced in camps, practices, and without preseason games. To me, this says that officials are swallowing their whistles while they get their legs under themselves. It makes sense to hold on to your flag if you aren't certain, and some level of hesitation seems like it could be magnified by rust. How and when the trend normalizes will be key moving forward, and a reason to pay attention to everyone's favorite little flag, officials are people too. And just like the players we cheer for and against every week during the games, 2020 is a year of adjustment, even for the team wearing stripes.
We all love our kids. That's human nature. How much do Jake Garcia's parents love him? So much that they have legally separated. Yes, for Jake. Why was this necessary? Because otherwise Jake could not have played football this fall in Georgia. Yes, it's confusing. Jake Garcia is one of the top high school quarterbacks in the nation, committed to USC. But the Garcias live in California, where high school football isn't being played this fall. Jake and his parents, he's their only child, wanted him to play, so they decided they would move to a state where he could. Despite the possibility of injury in a year when no one expects him to play, and despite the unique circumstances of the pandemic. Apparently dozens, if not hundreds, are doing the same thing. But for Jake to play in Georgia, the transfer rules stipulate that he must move with his primary guardians, or guardian if his parents are not together. And there's the rub. Jake's mom, Yvonne, needs to be in California for work. Jake's dad, Randy, who's retired, doesn't. So the Garcias split up. Legally, if not romantically. Are you following? When the season's over, they say they'll legally unseparate. All this so that Jake could play football this season for the legendary program at Valdosta High. Last week, Jake's game was canceled because 4 players and a coach on the opposing team tested positive for the coronavirus. Do the Garcias love Jake? No doubt. Is doing this the right call? That's much harder to say.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.